Welcome to my segment on understanding umami, and thank you for your interest in viewing this. I've been researching the umami phenomenon for nearly 20 years when I was first introduced to it through scientists in Lausanne, Switzerland, and by Japanese sommeliers who were interested in how Americans distinguish the taste of amino acids in wine. And it led to this concept called umami. For years I thought it was a Japanese phenomenon or relevant to Japanese cuisine, but here's what umami is: a primary taste, right? Not hocus pocus, not philosophical. It is within the paradigm of sweet, sour, salty, and bitter. Umami is the taste of glutamate and nucleotides. So it's specific compounds humans recognize and we love. It's a very, very important taste. It's funny that we don't have an actual word for it in our language. Human breast milk is 10 times higher in glutamate than cow's milk, and so one could even say that we're weaned from the breast to other foods that contain umami taste. Some examples of what has umami taste and where it comes from. I've got a bunch of stuff here. I'm just going to sort of zoom in down here. And what we've got is mushrooms. If you take a mushroom and bite it and eat it raw, not much taste, kind of unfulfilling. And then when you just throw it in the microwave in a baggie and then try it again, nuke it for about 20 seconds, and it converts glutamic acid to glutamate, creating the yumminess. It's a great example of what umami is. When you bake a potato or cook it, nucleotides are created, and it goes from a watery kind of nothing taste and crunchy, it softens. That's a touch phenomenon, but now you've got something there that wasn't there before. That's umami. And on top of that, then we want bacon and cheese. Brings us to Parmesan cheese, very, very high levels of glutamate, and why it's used so pervasively. Soy sauce also has very high umami, and it's interesting that Parmesan cheese and soy sauce are used in similar ways to make certain things in their respective cuisines much more yummy and delicious. Tomatoes are a rich source of umami taste. Let's see, Thai fish sauce, salty and umami, brings up a really important point. If you want to distinguish sweet, you use sugar. If you want to distinguish salty, you use salt, etc. And it's very hard to find umami in just a plain form of pure umami taste. The closest we can get is on a regular basis is monosodium glutamate, and that's a combination of two tastes. It's a refined form of glutamate plus salt, so it makes it a little bit more challenging to clearly distinguish the umami component. Other things, beans have nucleotides and rice has glutamate. Separately, they are incomplete proteins. When they're combined, they form a much more complete and nutritious protein, and much better for us. When you combine nucleotides and glutamate, you get a truly synergistic effect of up to 10 times an increase in umami taste intensity. It's the nucleotides in the anchovies with the Parmesan cheese combined that makes certain things so yummy, like Caesar salad. And tomato is kind of a meat replacement. Tomato has the closest to the meat forms of umami compounds, and we even have words like beefsteak tomatoes and whatever. So tomato sauces and certain things during times of poverty were used as meat replacement and became part of the cultures. Vegemite's another example of that. Okay, asparagus, very high in umami taste. And here's what's important to know. A lot of misinformation about umami in terms of the wine and food thing. When you have lots of umami in your food, your wine, especially red wine, will taste bitter and metallic after eating the food high in umami. So it's very, very important to recognize umami in the food makes wine suck. And it's the same kind of reaction you get when you brush teeth and drink orange juice. That happens with sweet food and wine. It happens with the sweetness of the toothpaste and orange juice. And uncovering what umami was and distinguishing that helped us unravel, our new proposition for an alternative to wine and food matching, which is flavor balancing. So other things we do, chicken broth and stocks and so on, are extractions of umami. Sherry is an awesome thing to use in your cooking because it's got nucleotides and it really brings out a richness in food. And then vinegars also very, very high in nucleotides. So that little bit of vinegar is adding sourness and umami taste. So human beings love the complexity of flavor. We like things that contain salt and umami and sourness and varying levels of bitterness and certainly sweetness. So it's a myth that umami is some magical essence of pairing wine and food, and the truth is more umami in your food, less you taste umami in wine. And that's the final proposition. I've been working on a hypothesis. It's at my blog, which is swamiofumami.blogspot.com, and you can see the proposition that umami is a primary taste in wine. The taste you get when you nuke your mushroom is very similar if you take out the aromatics of the mushroomy, olfactory part of it. You get that really rich mouthfeel that wasn't in the raw mushroom, and it's identical to the primary taste you get, plus the bitter suppression elements of stirring the leaves in Chardonnay, or of the richness you get extending maceration of red wine, aging sparkling wines, on tirage, rich, creamy, smoother, and then finally that extreme richness in sherries in the nucleotides that come from the flor yeast in the aging conditions. So hopefully that helps you understand what umami is and what it isn't. And if you have any more questions, you can actually go to my blog and propose them, and I'll try and answer them as best as possible. Thank you very much, and that's it from the Swami of Umami. Thank you.